Only in the United States is there such a rich mixture of races, creeds, and nationalities. Only in our melting pot.
The United States is commonly referred to as the melting pot, where different cultures can come together and become one. With such diversity that is present in the United States, one would think that the education system would address this. However, that is not what's happening in our current education system, and we lack such diversity when we study about different cultures.
I definitely do think there's a lack of education in a lot of the main spheres where you don't know about their background, and that's reflected in the United States education system.
As high school students, it is essential for us to know about the wide variety of different cultures that exist both within and outside of the US. Hence, as the new president and Congress takes office in January 2021, the topic we want them to address the most is the need to diversify our educational curriculum. The lack of diversity in our current education curriculum has been causing detrimental effects to society.
Well, how is America going to function in the world if Americans don't know anything about the world?
Despite this fact, the politicians we see on national television have not talked about this topic because of the way our education system is structured.
Typically, the states have much more control over the content of what's taught in their K-12 schools.
What the state curriculum teaches is really a state and not a federal issue.
The education system in the United States is divided between the federal and the state government. The federal government protects rights to education and civil rights, while the state and local government decides the graduation requirements and the actual curriculum. Now, the federal government obviously can't pass laws or pass legislation on this topic. However, what they can do is address this topic, advocate for this topic, and also raise awareness on this topic. But why is it so important to diversify our curriculum? The first reason why we need a more diverse learning system is so students have the knowledge necessary to compete in the market, something both Democrats and Republicans have agreed on.
It is our job to make sure that they have the training immediately to lead us into the future.
You know, we need to make investments in education and training to give Americans the skills they need to succeed at the good jobs of the future.
But what do we need training and education in order to be successful in the future?
The more international perspective students graduate with, the better prepared they're going to be successful in the world, because I think the world is more and more interdependent, so that our success relies on having partnerships with other countries and people that are successful.
But it's not just because of competency on the market that we need to know about diverse cultures. We need this change so we can understand each other better.
Learning history, learning culture, and doesn't that ultimately make better citizens? Doesn't that ultimately make more empathetic human beings?
I know for a fact that people that do learn about their respective histories, understand more about the way that they interact with people, they learn more about their country of origin. These people are a lot more competent in dealing with other people of the same ethnicity, of different races.
Dana Chen also went on to give her take on how the government should work to solve this issue.
I feel like the best way is to just institute requirements. If we just add in another class about ethnic studies, I think that'll definitely help.
Although there are all these reasons why we need to diversify our educational curriculum, there's also counter-arguments that say otherwise. The primary counter-argument is a time constraint.
Anytime you add something to a very, very full curriculum, then the question becomes, how do you do that and still do everything else? Or whether it's time to take something else out. And I think that that's pretty difficult case to make.
I mean, I think time is always going to be a constraint. What should people learn, and how much should they have learned about whatever topic by the time they graduate from high school is always a matter of contentious debate, right?
Another concern people have when discussing adding more cultures to our education system is having to face sensitivity.
You look at the whole Black Lives Matter movement and kind of the political and cultural climate of the country today, sensitivity is the biggest thing.
I think you will get people saying, look, it's much more important that that Americans know how their own government works than that they worry about what happened in China in the past. And that's kind of a valid argument.
In conclusion, there are several factors, positives and negatives, that we must consider in advocating for a more diverse curriculum. Regardless, because we live in a global age when we're interacting so closely to each other, there must be a push towards diversifying the status quo.
Changing the education system is going to be incredibly hard, but I think it's going to be worth it. If we're not learning about the ways that we interact with each other, if we're not learning about our respective histories, how are we expected to become a country, a United States, if we're not understanding how each other work?